You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts now.
What's up, Black and White sports fans? John Matrix here, and I'm back with another video. All right, we're going back to the world of sports, and we're going to be talking about college football, mainly college football game day on ESPN. I don't know if you guys have actually seen it, but Kirk Herbstreit was brought to tears. Not talking about the game, not a game. Was talking about all of the unrest out here in the country, mainly believing the false narrative that police are out there killing black people. It's a complete lie, and I think he has bought into the lies of the mainstream media. But hey, he works for ESPN, who lies about a lot of things themselves. You know, they're all about social justice, but they don't want to believe the truth. And I believe Kirk Herbstreit doesn't have the truth. I truly don't, because if you watch the video, and I'm going to run the video here in just a minute, he's brought to tears. And watching that video clip of him, for one thing, I believe he's not informed about what's really happening out there, because I believe that his tears are genuine and he's crying, but he's been misled completely by the media. But let's go ahead. Let's roll this clip here, folks. Then I'll be right back to give you my take on what he said.
Yeah, LC, I think that I agree with all of what you guys are saying. It's remarkable to see players have an opportunity to come together, and that this show and Maria's given them that platform to be able to express how they feel. And I think it's great. I also think that if you're a white player in these locker rooms, I think it's incumbent upon you to really help with the change. I saw Dylan Bowles there from Stanford involved. And I think, Trevor Lawrence at Clemson has been involved. I think it's one thing to have rallies. It's one thing to skip a practice because of social injustice. It's one thing for the NBA and the NFL to miss games, to make a statement. Those things are great. But my question is, what's next? What does that lead to? You go back to practice the next day. What will lead to change? And I really think, I was talking to David Shaw, the head coach at Stanford, who really, he and I had a great talk. I love listening to his wisdom and his thoughts. And he shared a quote to me and reminded me from Benjamin Franklin. He said, justice will not be served until those who are unaffected are as outraged as those who are. And I think that's what I mean when I think the black community is hurting. If you've listened, and the word empathy and compassion over these last 4 months, how do you listen to these stories and not feel pain and not want to help? You know what I mean? It's like wearing a hoodie and putting your hands at 10 and 2. Oh God, I better look out because I'm wearing Nike gear. Like what? What are we talking about? And so you can't relate to that if you're white, but you can listen and you can try to help, because this is not okay. It's just not.
It's not.
And we got to do better, man. We got to like lock arm in arm and be together in a football locker room. That stuff is gone. Those barriers are gone. And we got to do better.
So there you have it, folks. Kirk Herbstreit giving his take on racial injustices across the country. And I truly, truly do believe he is misled. One of the things that stuck out to me is that he said just because you're wearing a Nike shirt or a hoodie, you shouldn't be killed. Nobody believes that you should be killed for wearing a Nike shirt and a hoodie. And guess what, folks? The police are not killing black people because they're wearing hoodies and a Nike shirt. It's never happened, okay? Now, if he's talking about the hoodie, he's talking about Trayvon Martin. But guess what? He wasn't even killed by the police, okay? He was killed by a Mexican person named George Zimmerman, okay? So, folks, police are not out there killing people for what they're wearing. Police are not out there killing black people because of the color of their skin. And he's talking about, I don't know what actually gave him, what made him feel like he can actually speak for black people. When he was talking about the last 4 months, the black community is hurting really, really bad. Not on my end. We're doing just fine. You know, we're making the best of pretty much being at home because of the virus, but we're not going outside our door fearing for our life. That's a LeBron James woke talking point, and I believe that Kirk Herbstreit fell for that because what LeBron said was a complete lie, and a lot of black people have been destroying LeBron James on that comment. So Kirk Herbstreit, man, you're completely wrong on this, okay? We're not living in fear. We're not afraid at all. And actually, I guess you can say this, there's been more black people that's been killed during these BLM riots and lootings than what the police have killed black people all year. I don't even think it's even close, to tell you the truth. But he's buying into a false narrative, a complete false narrative. And he says that he wants to do something. He wants to help. You know what? You can do this, okay? First off, stop watching CNN, okay? He's probably clearly watching CNN. Stop listening to your woke colleagues at ESPN. Do the research, okay? Do the research. In all these cases with black people and the police, they have pretty much all been not complying with the police, okay? Or they've been high on drugs. Like the new person now, Daniel Prude, and that wasn't even new. That was back in March, okay? In case you guys don't know, this is a short story. His brother, a black person, called the police on him. The man was butt naked outside in New York in March, and it was snowing. And he was on PCP, aka angel dust. That stuff can kill you, folks. And he was spitting at the police officers, okay? And he said he had the virus. So what did they do? They put a spit hood over his head so he can actually stop spitting, okay? Now, I was looking at some of the side effects of PCP. You hallucinate, you can vomit, you can pass out, you can die. All of those things happened to him. They had the hood over his head. And from what I understand about the hood, and I've seen it used on reality TV shows in prison, because they use it in prisons, you can breathe through that thing, okay? You can. But he OD'd. He vomited. He was not complying with the police. He was completely out of his mind. And guess what, folks? He didn't die in police custody. He died a week later. So anybody tells you that he died in police custody, that is a complete lie. And he was high as a kite. But I'll move back on to Kirk Herbstreit. He's just uneducated about what's actually happening in the black community. He is not in the black community. I believe he's just listening to a bunch of woke athletes, okay? And pretty much damn near all the athletes are woke. You know, they're trying to push a political narrative out there, and that's it. Because they don't care about facts. ESPN doesn't care about facts. That's why you have guys like Kirk Herbstreit on TV buying into the lie. Police are not killing black people. And also, will you folks get back to talking about the game? We want to get away from the politics in sports. You know what? I believe a lot of people actually feel the same way I do. Okay? Because if you look at the growth of this channel, we have been calling out all of these lies left and right, and so many of you guys started watching this channel. We had close to 1 million views last month. We're over 1 million views in the last 30 days. You know why? Because we're not buying into the woke narrative, and you guys aren't either. But ESPN and Kirk Herbstreit continue to spread false narratives. False narratives. They refuse to call out these criminals because that's what they are. They are criminals. They refuse to call them out and say, hey, stop fighting the police. Stop using drugs. Stop being a criminal. In the case of Jacob Blake, you know what he did. We don't even need to repeat that. He's a horrible human being. Horrible. But what do you guys think of this? What do you guys think of Kirk Herbstreit and what he said? We're not living in fear, folks. We're not. I'm black. I can speak probably for the black community more than him. We're not living in fear. We want the black on black crime to stop. But let's not talk about that, I guess, because the mainstream media refuses to acknowledge that. LeWoke James doesn't talk about that. I'm pretty sure if I go look up now, There's probably several people that were killed not several people, probably more than several people that are actually killed in Chicago yesterday. But they don't want to address those issues. They don't want to address the fathers not being in the home. That is the number one concern to the black community. The second concern is black on black crime. The police, it's not going to happen. The police are not out there killing black people for the last time, folks. But that's just my thoughts on this. What do you think of this? Kirk Herbstreit, do you agree with what he said? I think it was just woke nonsense, a far left talking point of woke ESPN, and he bought into the narrative. But I hope Kirk Herbstreit actually watches this. The black community is not hurting from the police because there's hardly any cases that happen anyway. Put the fathers back in the homes, get the drugs off the street. That's our concerns right there, okay? That is our concerns. I've never been terrified of the police, never have, never will be, because guess what? I'm not a criminal. If you're a criminal, like all these people that's been in police custody or they've been fighting the police, they died or shot, those are the guys that need to be concerned, okay? Tell these people you need to change your life. Do your research. Do your research ESPN on Jacob Blake. Do your research Kirk Herbstreit on Jacob Blake. He's not a hero. He is the worst of the worst. But anyway, guys, let us know what you think about all this in the comments. Make sure you subscribe to Black and White Sports, and we'll catch you next time.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.